Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Today I got another leather jacket review. I just got this in the mail, and this is by a company that's an eBay seller that goes by the name of Antiguo Leather. I think I'm saying that right. It's A-N-T-I-G-U-O Leather. Relatively new seller, pretty small seller's history with only 12 sales. Now, that shouldn't concern anybody. There's lots of sellers who have primary stores, and to be more competitive, they will start secondary stores. Sometimes people, human psychology, people buy for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes somebody might see two different jackets that look exactly the same and decide to buy it from another particular seller or website if the price is more, because they have the perception that it's better quality. Other times, if a seller has a lot more reviews, they're going to maybe buy from them. Maybe they'll just like the name. So, just don't kind of hold that against the seller, right? So I reached out to this company because this is a jacket, a style that I've been eyeballing for quite some time. Cool thing about it is that I let them know what I did. I just said, hey, can you send me some more pictures? And they did, of course, so we're going to talk about that. And I said, hey, if you ever want to, do a collaboration, I run a channel, I review leather jackets, among other things. And they were like, great, I just checked out your channel, I love it, let's send you a jacket. So I want to thank Antiguo Leather for their generosity in collaborating Fat Cat Collections. And I hope to collaborate with them again, because there's a lot of other models out there. And sometimes, when you're seeing these jackets on eBay, very rarely are they on a person, and so you kind of have to take a little bit of a risk when buying, right? So it's pretty cool to be able to get my hands on these. So right off the bat, let's first show you kind of like the unboxing. They have this bag that it comes in. It says Zarme, not sure. Kind of just a generic bag. Doesn't really have anything to do with the company. It just feels like second skin. So maybe this is a primary company. Not really sure, but you folks know I never really... It's nice they send it in a bag, keeps it protected in shipping, because generally they send these in kind of soft padded kind of packages. So again, this came fine, no issues. I never have issues with shipping, right? Knock on wood. And so this is the jacket. And during this video, again, I'm going to throw a picture up here now so you can see what this jacket is. And before let me just put it on first so you guys can look at it while I'm doing the video. And I'll get back and show you a couple more shots here. So, there it is. Your typical, what I refer to as Brando, Marlon Brando style biker jacket, Terminator jacket, that kind of style where you have this overlapping sort of zipper on the front and then a couple flaps. These flaps can actually be pulled all the way in and zipped up. It's your typical dated riding jacket. Not cafe style, right? So kind of, made famous by Marlon Brando, of course. And I would say, I think leather, leather is timeless. I absolutely love leather jackets. I have over 40. I think I have 45. And it's always great to get my hands on one, but I'm always looking for something that's a little bit different, right? And so when you look at typical Brando jackets, this one definitely fit the bill. I've been eyeballing it for a couple years. It's just when you have so many, I gotta kind of be in the mood to buy one, right? And the price on this is fantastic, 130 bucks, right? So, I mean, typically, if you're gonna buy a leather jacket off eBay, that's kind of your price point, $99 to about $180. Once you start getting past that for these type of eBay, Amazon jackets, I'd say you're starting to pay a little bit too much, and we're gonna talk about that later on to the video. So, again, showing you some pictures here. I'll kind of show you the front here. So it looks like from the front. We'll kind of click through here. I'll show you the back. You can see sort of what the jacket looks like. Let me just show you the brown, which is really the original color I wanted, to be honest with you, and then the brown back. So let me just go back to the front picture just so I could kind of walk you through the design. So what's cool about it is that a lot of your typical Brando jackets look very similar in the front. What this has done is they have, and you can see by the picture, sort of like this fake belt going around. It's not actually a belt that's hanging and flopping down. I do have many jackets like that. They're great too, but there's no point in me having an exact same jacket as one I already have. So I like the fact that this is sort of just a stitch in here with sort of what normally be like belt loops, but they're all riveted on. So you get the look without the belt flapping around, right? Also on the front, this is pretty typical, have one of these little pockets here. This is a fake pocket, and they didn't put a button here, so it does just kind of flap. Not really any big deal. Pockets on the side, let me just unzip these. Yep, good placement. Sometimes I find certain jackets, again, that, without trying something on, you don't know until you get it. Sometimes pockets can be kind of in an odd position. These are actually very functional. You can use these. No problem there at all. What else? As far as like the lapels on this, or not the lapels, but the epaulets, and that's on the shoulder here, you can see this jacket does not have those that I can see, and on the one in the picture it does. So let me just, we're going to talk more about the design aspects on this. Well, let me finish on that. So when we turn the jacket on the side, you have two buckles here. These are adjustable. However, on this jacket, we'll talk about the negatives in a little bit, but you see you have, hang on, I'm going to look at the picture with you folks here. Sort of like this stitching up around the shoulders, you can see there. Two ventilation zippers on the back. Again, these side cinches, as I like to call them, two levels of adjustment, and sort of like this pleated kind of stitching down the side. And so what really makes this jacket different than your typical Brando jacket is going to be, again, the belt. It's going to be these side buckles here and how they're designed. This sort of, I keep calling it like stitching type, vertical stitching going up, down, up around the shoulder. And of course, what else? You have some of that same pattern on the elbows. And these are all subtle, you know, small design aspects. Stuff like this is what you typically would see on like more of your cafe racer style jackets, but it's cool that they integrated this kind of styling into a jacket that's more of your typical Brando jacket. So overall, pretty cool jacket. Glad I got it. Very happy to collaborate. The only downside to the pictures here, and I don't like when companies do this, is that this one's got rivets. The other one on the picture here looks like it has rivets or something on the epaulets. This does not. So not like the picture. The other thing the picture is going to show you that it has what I think is like a darker zipper, like more like black, or it looks like a black zipper. On this jacket, they're more of the bright, shiny, kind of silver zippers. So they do stand out more, and it does change the look of the jacket. So let me just, with that being said, let me kind of jump into the negative. So one thing I don't like is when a company puts a picture on a website selling a jacket, specifically in this, or any product really for that matter, that is not like the one you're going to get. So the reason why I reach out to the seller is because I know a lot of companies, tons of eBay and Amazon sellers do this. They find an original jacket somewhere that some company makes. It's probably a very expensive jacket. Then they make what in the watch world would call a homage, right? It's a copy, right? They basically copy the style and put their own branding on it. Nothing wrong with that. My biggest gripe is that this is not the jacket that's pictured. Now they've copied it, it's similar, and that's the reason I always reach out and why I want to tell you guys to always reach out to eBay sellers, specifically on eBay with leather that you're planning on buying. Because a lot of times they do this, and this is something that's been going on with, if you ever watch my video on the Pretender Leathers genuine Stormbringer jacket, lots of brands are copying that style because it is so unique. Another very unique Brando style jacket, putting the Pretender pictures on there and then basically making the jacket when somebody orders. Sometimes they'll have them made in a warehouse and shipping them out, but they're not actually showing you the jacket you're getting. And there has been, in every single occasion I've dealt with, a difference, right? So from what I can tell based on the picture that they're using, this appears to be a cowhide jacket. Cowhide or buffalo. It has more of a rougher texture. This jacket appears to be like a lambskin. And lambskin's what you're going to get for the most part on your more affordable, kind of cheaper jackets. It's still nice. Lambskin used to be more of a higher end. Remember back in the day when I bought Wilson jackets, you know, lambskin was a lot more than cowhide. So that's kind of changed. Probably because a lot of these jackets are coming from like, and I'm sure back then they were too. They weren't selling direct to consumer. Is, you know, they're made. This I think came from like Pakistan, one of those Indian countries, right? And forgive me if I'm not saying that correctly, but over in that part of the world, right? A lot of leather goods come from there. So that's the negative thing that I don't like when sellers do this kind of tactic. You're going to get it, and it's going to be noticeably different than when you get it. This is not cowhide. The one in the picture appears to be cowhide, and I don't know that with 100% certainty, but when you look at the picture, you can just see it's a thicker type leather. Even by looking at the lapel, it's more rigid. It doesn't quite look like this, right? The other downside, again, is the zippers, right? If you're going to copy something, if you're going to use a picture and not actually send that jacket, you better be damn sure you really duplicate it to the best of your ability. So they sort of replicated it, right? Buttons are different. In the picture, they have kind of like these buttons that have, they're more of like a subdued kind of metal, right? And they have sort of like a marking. I don't know if it's like a cross of some sort. I can't really see, it's too small, but I have to actually look and see if this is a Pretender leather jacket because it has kind of their look. Now, that's the black version. When you go into the brown, and this company did send me the picture, so I specifically said I'd like the picture of the real jacket without even like confirming it yet. I knew that's what they're doing. The brown looks awesome, and the brown is the one I've been eyeballing for years. The problem is, and the reason why I haven't ordered it, because I'm not able to find who actually makes this jacket, because every single person that I have contacted does not have the jacket pictured. It's always one that they've made and replicated. And the brown on this jacket, it's really hard to replicate the look of a weathered, distressed brown cowhide with lambskin. You're just not going to get the look. Even just plain old black is safer, but it's a different look, it's a different feel, it's a different texture. So that's that really irks me that brands do this. So the reason I didn't get the brown is because the brown jacket they have pictured and the brown jacket you're going to get is nothing like one another. Absolutely, totally different. I would be so pissed if I spent my money on that. The black, though, is more reasonable. The black, you don't notice as much because we're just looking at a black jacket, right? So that, again, that's kind of the downside to this. The other thing is they didn't, a couple of the buttons here, I think it's great that you can zip this totally up, but this is what I consider like a homage riding jacket. This is not really, if you fall riding this, you're going to tear through it, right? It's going to give you an element, a little bit of protection, but it's not really meant for that. It's just kind of a fashion jacket, right? It's just meant to keep you warm and look nice, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. They're not riding jackets, right? And so when they say distressed racer jacket on their description, this is not distressed. The black isn't meant to be distressed. It's just black. The brown is supposed to be distressed, but you are not going to get a distressed jacket that looks anything like that. So if you do like this jacket and you like the style, I encourage you to just to get the black, right? Or don't get it, because the brown, you know, he'll send you a picture of the brown, but they should be listing the picture of the actual jackets because it doesn't look anything like it. Hopefully in this video I can throw that picture up here. So that's that's definitely a gripe. The other gripe I have is, now let's talk sizing, because this is not really necessarily a gripe, but you're always taking a risk when you buy a coat that the sizes they put on here are going to be correct, right? So this is a small. I usually wear a small or a medium, and depending on the coat and the manufacturer and really just plain old luck, sometimes I get a small and I'm like, shit, I should have went with the medium. Other times I get a medium and say I should have went with the small. There are smalls and there are mediums, and there's no consistency despite what sellers put on. For instance, on this jacket on small, they have listed body chest is 40, right? Now, again, everybody's body's different. So you might be a guy, I'm 5'8", I weigh 183 pounds. So you might, again, everybody's build is different. If you are overly fat, then a small is not going to fit you. I am not ripped, but if you, let's say I was 180 pounds at like 10% body fat, that's a lot of muscle. I'm definitely not at 10% body fat, but I'm also not teeny. And so what I find about this particular small is it's very tight in the arms. So if you are a trim guy and you don't have, and again, I don't mean this to sound like I have some gigantic biceps, but you know, my arms are not small either. You know, it is a little snug, and you have to like a snug fitting jacket. Fortunately for me, this is fine. I don't mind if a jacket's a little bit restrictive. I'm generally not going to be wearing a jacket sitting down, right? I'm just going to be wearing it, and if I'm going to sit somewhere to eat or go somewhere, I'm going to take it off. So not really a deal breaker for me. The sleeve length is perfect. A lot of times when you order jackets, whether it be small or medium, the sleeves are always too long, and that's great if you're wearing, if it's a traditional riding jacket, because when you bring your arms out, the sleeves pop up, so having a little bit extra length there helps to keep the wind out. But on a jacket like this, this is a riding style jacket, not a riding jacket. Other thing with smalls, I find this is subjective. I don't like a jacket too long, so if I would have went with a medium, I would have got a jacket that's even longer in the back, and this to me is even a little bit too long. I'd like to see this up about an inch. And on the length on this is a 26. So I think on a small jacket, and it is subjective, for me I'd prefer a 25. If I would have went with the medium, it would have been 26.5, which brings it even longer. And this is not meant to be a 3/4 length jacket, right? Not bad. I'm not saying it's bad at 26, but just not my personal preference. So just kind of keep that in mind if you do order something like this. As far as my size, my height, my weight, I can still zip it, but I do have to kind of like cinch in a little bit, especially if you wear a firearm. It kind of adds to the waist, so sometimes I have to bring it up over the firearm and zip it, which I'll demonstrate. And just kind of zip it up, right? If you are a guy who zips your jackets up often, I'd probably say go with a medium. But still, it fits, right? It is snug, absolutely, but this is kind of how I like a coat to fit. Generally though, unless I'd have to be really cold and outside to zip my jackets up. Generally jackets like this I like to wear open. What else? You have some zippers on the sleeves here, which are functional. You can zip those up, but for how tight the sleeves are, like I'm not going to force that. Actually, that one's just a little, especially if you're a watch guy. And you can see I can zip it, but it's definitely going to get snug. So better just to leave it open. You can zip up these ventilation flaps if you want, but overall, I mean, let me get back a little bit. The jacket fits good, and leather will stretch a bit. Even since I've been wearing it for the last like 15 minutes, the arms have stretched, and I usually just kind of gently move around in any jacket that I get, especially if it's a little snug like this. Now, again, depending on your build, for me at small, it is definitely restricted when reaching, so I'm not going to be like stocking shelves if that was, you know, something I needed to do in the garage or something. I'm not going to be doing stuff like that, but it is somewhat restrictive. A medium would definitely give me more room, so just kind of take that into consideration depending on your height, your weight, your build. You might want to go with a medium. The medium is a 42 in the chest. I haven't confirmed those measurements, but you know, again, this is kind of the, when you're going for affordable $100, $130 jackets on eBay or Amazon, you do have to kind of compromise a little bit. You want to spend more? Go to a brick and mortar store and pay. I can tell you, like, some folks will be like, oh, go get a jacket from Macy's or whatever. You're not going to get anything that's super high quality. I mean, when you're looking at $300 jackets, that's generally what you're going to pay for something like this, 3 to 5 in a brick and mortar store. You know, these companies are no different. They're getting their jackets from overseas as well, just slapping a brand name on it and charging you more. So as far as the material, again, your traditional lambskin. One thing I like about this jacket is that it doesn't have a gamey odor. Sometimes when you're ordering jackets on Amazon or eBay, and they're coming from those parts of the world, shipped directly from Pakistan, sometimes the leather can have a little bit more of a barnyard game-like smell to it. You know, it does dissipate in time, but that might be off-putting to some. For me, it doesn't really bother me, but this one does not have that odor. So, just smells like leather. It looks good. It's got a kind of nice sheen to it, but it is an affordable leather jacket. Now, for some of the folks, for some of the haters in the comment section, and I have to always bring this up when it comes to leather jackets, some folks will see jackets like this and call them just like watches, that they're crap, they're not good quality. Remember, clothing is not rocket science. And absolutely, if you are a guy who is a rider and looking to buy a jacket based on getting an element of protection, absolutely anything's going to give you a little bit of protection. But if you're really looking for that riding style, riding jacket with function, you don't buy a jacket like this. You're gonna buy something that's designed by a company or sold by a company that specialize in jackets that are designed to protect you. They might have armor plates in them. They might not. They might just be a higher grain, a thicker type leather, buffalo, cowhide. Again, you look at brands like Schlott, I think I'm saying that right, Harley Davidson. All those brands have heavy markup as well, but they're more designed to be riding jackets, right? I know I have some Icon jackets that were like, one of them was like $680. I didn't pay as much for it, but that's roughly the going price. It had armor plates in it. It's more of like a motocross style, or like a street GP style jacket, right? More of a racer style jacket. And I think it's cowhide, and it's definitely a thicker type of cowhide, right? Definitely gonna give you an element of protection, but you do pay a lot more for that. So if you're just looking for a nice style jacket that gives you that biker style look, you know, this is a good option for you. What I like about it, again, it's different than a lot of the other ones out there. But I do, again, always want to be transparent. When you look at their website, you're not going to get the exact jacket pictured, and I don't like that because that's a bait and switch tactic. So my advice is, company, although I hope to collaborate with them again in the future, and I always hate to say stuff like this because companies might say, oh, well, we don't want you to say that. I'm always going to be honest with my reviews, and if a company appreciates that, which they should, then they'll change their tactic. there's no point in selling something that you don't actually have, because then you're just going to lose another customer. And generally people, when they buy one thing, especially coats or watches, they might buy another one. And if you treat people right and you're honest with them and you provide them with a good value and decent quality, then you'll have a repeat customer, right? Now, other people in the comment section will really talk down about jackets like this. I had an argument with a guy the other day. He's like, you don't know jackets, all this shit. I'm like, well, how many do you have? Because I have 45, and I have jackets by Wilson. I have jackets by, again, Amazon, eBay sellers, Pretender Leathers, which is a Ukrainian company. You want to talk about high quality? Check out Pretender. I mean, I'm sorry, they blow any Harley Davidson or Schlott jacket I've ever seen out of the water, in my opinion. But again, buying stuff like this is subjective, and you have to buy what makes you happy and what you like, right? What else? So who's going to wear this? So you have all kinds of nonsense YouTube channels out there nowadays with men over this shouldn't wear this, or men under this shouldn't wear this, cologne, watches. Wear what makes you happy. If you see me wearing this and you're like, hey, that's a little too youthful for my style or a little too biker-like, then you buy something else. If you are in your 50s and you're like, man, I've always wanted a jacket like this, you can wear whatever you want. Don't buy things and wear things to impress women or other men. Like a lot, so many people are so concerned with, oh, well, do you like it? It's like, no, dude, do you like it? When you look in the mirror and say, God, I feel badass, I feel cool, I like the way this looks, then you buy it. And anybody has anything to say about it, you tell them to fuck off. Right? So always do what you like and makes you happy, and then you can buy something you're really going to enjoy. But as far as, again, the quality, I think this jacket, knocks it out of the park for 130 bucks. That's kind of the going range or price for jackets like this. But again, I do hope that the company listens to my advice and puts something on there just saying, hey, this is our actual jacket, because they'll still sell these. And just show you a couple more shots here. If you are looking for a coat that's a little bit different, again, you have those air vents in the back. I believe they're functional, but it has them. Even if they're not functional, you have the look. Again, I like the side buckles. I like that they add some zippers here. Again, the main things that make this different than a traditional Brando jacket is you're going to have, I think the Brando jacket will have the zippers here, but they've done a double zipper here, which you will find on some. The riveted stitched in faux belt, and then the stitching down the side around the back, and kind of up around the sleeves. It's an awesome coat. Absolutely love it. Really glad to add it to my collection. I've been wanting it for a while. Too bad I can't find the original seller of this, the brown one, but that's probably a lot more money, more than I would want to spend on a jacket. So this definitely fits the bill. It gives me another coat in my collection of over 40, I don't know what I got now, that's different than the other Brando jackets. And what I also like about this is that some of the Brando jackets I have are buffalo, they are cowhide, and what else? I think, yeah, mainly that's what they are. I didn't have a black one in lambskin. And the nice thing about lambskin is that it is thinner, and there's not a lot of, I don't know if there was any kind of insulation in this. And this is what I like in a jacket. If you live in a climate that doesn't really get super cold, and you're not riding a motorcycle, and you're not really looking to stay warm, but you just want a little something to take the chill out, this definitely fits the bill. It's sort of a, early spring, fall jacket. Depending on your climate, you can wear it in winter too, but I think this is perfect. And again, a lot of times when I find that if you're going to get cowhide or buffalo, and it's got more insulation in it, you start to have this big, bulky jacket. And, I don't always want to wear a big, bulky jacket. I mentioned Pretender earlier. A beautiful jacket. Love it. Amazing quality. Great look. But it's a very thick buffalo. It's got more insulation in it. And when you start throwing on all those thick pockets it has on there, it is a bulky jacket, as nice as it is. So I have to kind of be in the mood for something like that. Whereas this, really light, throw it in the car, pop it on, pop it off, no big deal. So that's about it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Let me just show you guys a few more kind of modeling shots here. Get an idea what it might look like on you. Again, 5'8", 183 pounds. A guy my size could, it depends on what you like, honestly. I mean, there's times in my life where I wore really big stuff, right? So if I was in my 18, 19, I probably would have wanted this in like an extra large. But times change, your style will kind of change. I don't say with the times, but based on what you like. You shouldn't change with the times. You should always wear what you like. If you're a dude who likes big baggy clothes, you should still continue to wear that. But it's a nice looking coat, and I think, you know, for the money, I think you'll be happy with it. Now, if this is not your style, again, link to the seller store is in the description. Check them out. If you have any questions whatsoever, I will do my best to answer them, but I probably would just recommend you contact the seller. If you do contact the seller and he doesn't get back to you, let me know. I'll contact the seller, but I think he will. I was really impressed with how quick he responded and that there was no kickback with the transparency. I said, hey, I want an actual picture of the jacket. He's like, no problem. And he sent me like, I think 5 or 6 pictures, which you've probably seen already. So anyway, very happy with it. Definitely recommend the seller. Check them out. If I can help in any way, of course, let me know. And as always, folks, have a fantastic day and take care.